Okay, continuing along with our Bandai series this week of kits, what we're going to be looking at now is the amazing 1/48 scale this time. This is the AT-ST, or the Scout Walker, the Chicken Walker, and all the other nicknames you can go with it. As you can see, great off the bat like that, beautiful box art. Really nice. Bandai have really spent some time doing this. The X-Wing is definitely my favourite one. That's beautiful box art with the weathering. But the TIE Fighter again, and then the Advanced TIE Fighter, and then this guy obviously being down here on Endor, absolutely looks beautiful. So, usual thing, we've got some little bit from the film, and then obviously these are actual kits themselves been put together so you can see what you can expect from the kit. Very nicely done. Your kit number for this one is 0194869. Okay. And then on the back side, we've got the various angles, as you can see it down there, and then back up to the top. So, in the box, just having a look, immediately we are greeted by a lot of plastic. Considering all of these are roughly just under 2,000 yen, it's amazing the difference in plastic you get, yet the prices universally, they are the same across the board here. So, because definitely you get a lot more plastic you see in here than we've seen in the TIE Fighters. The X-Wing was quite a lot as well. So, down in here, if we just grab our instructions just to start with. So, usual thing, slightly bigger instructions on this, as we can imagine. So, starting at the beginning. Okay, so as we can see, starting down here, we're going to be working on, it just shows you, you've got the greyed out area, the darker areas area you're working on. So we've actually got the actual chest plate, if you like, area of this one where the mechanism for all the gear and everything else is. Remember, 2 tabs means it clicks, it needs to click because then that locks it all together and takes care of all your parts. Okay, again, beautifully done all the way through. Some nice details going in there. And then down to section 1. Where you've got some more details being put in, the actual plates underneath the actual legs themselves, and then all the hosing, and you're presuming all the hydraulic things and coolant things all being put in. Okay, and then that brings you up to here. Okay, and then you've got the covers over the top, and then we can go down and start to work on the legs. So you've got the legs all going together, completely complex. Obviously I've done my homework on these, haven't built this particular one yet. Obviously I've done the X-Wing series, but not these. I am told they are semi-posable, but they don't like to stand on their own. So if you are thinking about it, you could put some weight into the actual feet to weigh them down, but they do like to be on their stand. They've only got a limited range in the legs, so you're not going to be walking it up a hill. Okay, so that's the legs going down on there. Then you can imagine you've got to go onto your other leg. All right, so you've got both the leg systems done. Okay, and then over here you're working actually on the cabin itself. So 2 sides going in, you've got the 2 crew figures going down in there. Okay, and then the outer shield, so like an inner system and the outer, and then the outer plates all being put on them. And then straight over on the other side, you've got the outer plating, the armor plating going onto it, the laser cannon, so you've got the chin twin lasers going down there, and then obviously I don't know if you get a choice, no, not really a choice on the weapon system going down in there. Okay, but normally you've got that sort of rocket pod on one side and the smaller laser cannons on the other. Okay, and then it's just a case of putting him onto his base, where you can obviously have Chewie on the top. Again, we've got the laser cannons. Again, it's linkable, so if you want to have a little squadron of the actual walkers, you could do. Okay, and then finally you've got just over here, we've got all the things for the actual decals, which obviously there isn't any on here. I'm just thinking you get a laser burn on the front, and that is it. So you assume there's normally more markings than that. I would assume there is. Actually, we've got decals for them, but there isn't actually showing on the external side of the walker. Again, have a look on YouTube. There is some amazing stuff. There's a couple of companies who have done their own films of them with amazing artwork on the side of the walkers and things like that, and on the space vehicles. You know, it's like World War II nose art, but with Star Wars stuff. They're brilliant. Okay, so in the bags, as I said, we've got quite a lot of bags in these, so we'll have a look through. Right, so as we saw with the X-Wing, as I say, you've got this sort of multi-injected part. So we've got the lasers just down in here in the red section. Obviously we've got Chewbacca, he's in 2 parts, standing. Okay, the detail on him, all right. I'm not going to say he's a perfect replica, but he's going to be close enough in this scale. This is the floor bit which they really need to stand on. They've got the little pins which the feet stick into and everything else. But generally, looking around at the parts, they are all very, very crisp. I'm not even going to say anything about flash and all the normal problems you get with them, because with these kits you don't. They are that good. Okay, so just generally working our way down, you've got the hoses, very nice, next to no burring whatsoever between the molds and everything else. You know the ejector pins are going to be non-existent. You get them, but they're very, very fine, very, very flush. Okay, and then we've got this guy down here, and as you can see, we've got the feet. This is obviously one of the leg systems going down there to give you an idea. As I said, you could, you know, if you look online, people have said about putting in, you know, tiny balls, things like that to weigh down the feet, which make them a lot more stable, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay, seated crew figure, again, looking quite nice. He's got full harnesses and chest gear and everything else like that, so he's quite a nice touch down there. But generally, just looking around, very, very nice. Okay, so we have the actual decals in this one. Again, we've got the little scorch mark on the front, and then we've got a couple, so we've got in black and lighter colours, so you could actually give it markings onto the vehicle itself. Okay, so in the bag two, so get them out. Even the bags are pretty good. Okay, so again, we're going to have a mirror to this point, and then you've got a little bit added on, okay, onto D1. So just down here, we've got some of the other areas. So we've got some of the weaponry that's going to go onto the outside. All right, so down here we've got the smaller laser cannons, the rocket type pods that are on the sides of it, and obviously this is the chin cannon area as it fits down in there, but the rest of it is just a mirror off of D2. Okay, so up here we got more of the legs, as you can see. Great detail on all of them. There isn't tons of detail. It's not like they're covered in everything, but then the real one wasn't either. Okay, beautifully done, very nicely done. I guess this is going to be something where you can spend a little bit more time perhaps weathering it and doing your more armor techniques, rather than what we did on the actual X-Wing, where we just gave it a standard oil wash and blend job right the way over it. Okay, so there we go. That's the armor at the top, and it gives you a sort of sense of the scale you can expect with this particular vehicle once it's done, because it's going to be standing yay tall. Okay, it's going to be about sort of yay wide. It's going to be quite impressive. Okay, into the last bag. So just down in here we have, we've got my bags today. Okay, so these are the stickers. Okay, so it's just the same, exactly the same, apart from these are just rub-on transfers rather than water slide decals. Okay, this is where it really comes into its own, and I must admit this is the first time obviously I've seen it. With all these reviews, I never even look in the box until we're here to review. And I know everyone was talking about the internal details of the Walker was absolutely fantastic, but even I'm surprised of how much detail we've got down in here. You might see we've got all sort of insulation, padding and areas on both sides for the crew themselves, but even the instrument panel, as you can see down here, you've got a plethora of multiple screens and all the parts on there just like this. Okay, it is exceptionally nicely done, and then obviously the internals for the insides as well. That is exceptionally well detailed. All of these large lumps, bumps and nodules that looks like Lego is what bring these together, because don't forget, and I'm assuming this is the same, you don't need glue with any of these kits. As I say, the X-Wing, go off and have a look at the video build. We put that together completely as a one-day build and never used glue on it. It was that good. Okay, so just the final bit. So we got the rear of the Walker itself, some more of the internal details. The floor, so obviously we've got the seating, a couple of bumps obviously for the crew figures to sit in and everything else like that, and working their way through. But generally, I have to say, I am very impressed. What also I am very impressed with, we spoke about at the beginning, is the price. Because to say it was 2,000 yen, it was the same price as a TIE Fighter, and you get half the amount of plastic in a TIE Fighter to what you get here. The X-Wing was probably on par. Quite a lot of sprues with that one that it goes in, but definitely a bargain. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to love this entire range of kits. I've got them all on pre-order, so we're doing quite well as a complete Star Wars anorak. If you want to see some of my other Star Wars builds, then obviously obviously feel free to have a look at my Star Destroyer, my sort of 3-foot monster Star Destroyer we did, the solid resin kit a couple of years ago. That's up on the site as well, full LED lighting. And I must admit though, the one thing is I have got a studio scale X-Wing resin garage kit to do as well. But after seeing these are amazing kits, and we've got some great ones coming out. Hopefully we're going to see the AT-AT Walker to go along with this little bad boy in 1/48 scale. That's going to be a stunner. And then coming up soon, should be out in the next couple of months, we've actually got the powered version of the 1/48 scale X-Wing to come along as well. So that's going to be an absolute stunner, because with that one you're going to have lights and sound and movable. It's got the X-Wing actually is on a motor system, so it opens and closes. It's got sound effect systems for firing lasers, starting up, firing the proton torpedoes and things like that. So that is a real stunner to come. And then next up for me, hopefully, will be the Snow Speeder in a couple of weeks, which I'll bring you. And also I've got the 1/16 scale, I do believe, which is the speeder bike, which unfortunately they're not all going to be in scale, but because of, you know, obviously sizing issues, because obviously if you have this in anything bigger it's going to be huge. It will be quite a nice kit, because it's going to be about yay big, so I'm going to bring those just as soon as they come out. So I just have to say, if you're just a Star Wars fan and you're not a modeler, these kits will go together great. You're going to have no problem. You don't need glue, a pair of scissors and a knife and you're good to go. That's how good these kits are. Simple instructions, just nothing fits. Check it, double check it. You'll find you've got it the wrong way around or something else like that. But certainly I am a massive fan of these kits. I'm a true convert to them, and I'm going to be getting the entire range. So there we go. That is the AT-ST as well as the entire of the Bandai range to date. Go and get them.